Hello, traders. This is Dave at PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. It is Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. And let's see, it's been an interesting market here lately. Let me zoom in here for a minute. We've got this is the S&P 500. I'm just going to go through the index charts, and we had this breakout of this descending trend line back a few days ago, right there. Broke up higher quite a bit. On Fed Day, we got a pullback hard. Um, I think things like Fed Day are just really an excuse to make uh, prices do what the market needs it to do. It needs volatility, and it had a breakout the day before. And so a bunch of traders got on and thought things were bullish, and then the market loves to suck you back underwater. And, you know, if you're aware of that, you can actually take advantage of it. And then today, the market actually moved way up and pulled, all the way down to here, but then pulled back up and closed where it did. And this is I'll call this a high wave candle. I don't know if that's exactly true or not, but it's got a large upper wick and really a pretty large lower wick. It's a lot like a doji. You can look up chart patterns and things like that. Candle patterns is what you'd be looking up. And but you can see this is where I flip over to the True Momo indicator on the bottom, and it's green going up. The last real signal is actually a sell signal, but over on the left hand side, the last signal was that's the weekly chart. So I'm looking at like the daily chart with the weekly chart, so you get like context, because the daily makes up the weekly. It just takes longer for the weekly to form a bar. So the last thing we had over here on the weekly was a buy signal, but we do have a red indication right now on the True Momo indicator. So really all this needs to do is continue to keep going higher, and everything should flip around. We should get a buy signal on the daily on the True Momo, and the True Momo on the weekly should turn around and go up and maybe get to this upper reversal zone and maybe start taking out some of these higher dots. That could be really fun if you're long-term bullish. Something to point out over here that I actually read on another trading site was there's a triangle pattern going on the weekly chart. You can see where I've drawn it up over here. So typically these things will play out by the time that the triangle comes to its apex, and that actually could be a few weeks out yet. So you got to be patient with the markets, or you got to be really a lot quicker than I am, and I also don't want to babysit the markets all day long, so because I've got a job to do, a regular job, and besides that, if I babysit the markets all day long, it just drives me crazy. So let's look at the Dow, and something I'm thinking about doing on the website is to actually just draw up how I see trading the markets. Again, read all the disclaimers, because when you're trading, you should be on your own, making your own decisions. This is an individual's game, if you ask me, and our website actually disclaims everything. So it's only really for educational purposes. We are not financial. We don't have, we're not allowed to give actual financial advice, and nor would you want us to. So descending wedge pattern going on here on the Dow. We've got green on the Dow True Momo indicator down here, but we don't have an up signal, a buy signal. We actually have a sell signal still on the weekly over here. So I'm not long anything that's actually tied to the Dow. But you can see, it's green over here on the right hand side, and the candles turn green a lot of times when things are in a bullish condition. So sometimes the red one pokes its head out, like this one where I've got the cursor. But generally speaking, the colors of the bars actually play into this too. So the NASDAQ, It actually went higher today and actually it's down here on the left-hand side where I'm highlighting it. The actual NASDAQ went up by 1.01% today. So it looks like it's breaking out, and it's got quite a long ways to go to really get to all-time highs. I mean, we're in the bottom third of the last year's down move. So, all right, with that, let's move over to stockcharts.com. Type in bullish. I'm going to hurry this up. So the NYA went down by 1.91% today. Let's look at the industrials. They were unchanged at 0. The transports are unchanged at 0, but they're in a column of X's, so that's short-term bullish. The NASDAQ has not turned around to a new column of X's yet. Kind of want it to. The S&P 500 is in a column of X's, went down by 1.72% today. So, this volatility, I think it's just interesting because, what we really need this thing to do is just pick up and get the volatility going back to the upside, which is where the point and figure charts, the bullish percent indexes, appear to be going. Unless something major happens with reports tomorrow. And I showed the other day, you can go to econoday.com and find out oops, that's the wrong chart. Neat that they got a ton of other kind of charts though. So here's the OEX. It actually tacked on a new X today, but it went down by 4.44% ultimately. Just shows you the kind of volatility that there is. The NDX tacked on a new X, and actually went up by 1.79% today. Something to point out here is that when these X's get extended like this to the upside, really to the downside as well for O's, they call it a high pole warning, and I don't know if they call it that on this site or if I think it's on investorsintelligence.com. But basically, you can see what happens when a pole gets extended, and when it reverses, it usually reverses pretty with a lot of volatility. And back here, I can't highlight it on this chart, but on the before 2023, it was moving. Well, actually, between 2022 and 2023. It was up in the upper reversal zone and went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth before it finally really rolled over and died. So, I mean, this is going to be a great indication of what the markets are doing and a lot of times before they do it. And then our actual automatic trading, our systems actually trade automatically, literally through the day. All you have to do is make sure that they don't jump off the track. This is the Russell 2000, and it is having a little life brought back into it here in the last couple days, or actually I think most of that's today. This is what it looks like on a 6-month basis. Went through it yesterday with some numbers tied to it, and the point is that we are fine. I mean, I would really like to fill this gap. And that's what the NASDAQ has done lately with what it's done here, because it had a gap that finally got filled back when it was pulling back through that zone. And lately it's been taken off really well to the upside. So, and the green dots are, by the way, new highs in our equity. So this is the results of trading. After the trades are done, this is when they get posted, and this is what actually has happened to our money, which I think is fascinating. Now here's one that will make you mad and makes me mad. At the end of the day today, the Dow gave me a terrible sell right there, or I should say took away some, I don't know if that was a buy or a sell, but it took away equity. We've been really kind of trying to get back here, and that just, I don't know, that was just a bad trade. Bad trades happen. So what we're trying to do is get in here and fill up that, get back up to those highs so we can start putting in new green dots, and then we can have maybe some action like this again. This is what it looks like on the longer term. That's what I was just on. And then I also threw this on here just for fun. This is really what, I mean, this is what the chart looks like through the day. And you can see where these trades are actually happening. When you see a red dotted line, it means it went against me. And when you see a blue dotted line, that means it was a winning trade. So this just happens to be the Dow that we were just looking at. And so it compiles all those trades together, and that's what you get in the equity curve. So I'll leave you guys with that for the night. Have a great Friday tomorrow, and we'll talk at you at the next wrap up. Take care.